Hello, everyone. My name is Yina. I lead Microsoft Foundry, and along with Tina and Elijah, who will just join him in a minute, we're going to cover how you can use Foundry to build agents faster, safer, and at scale. Agents are in the future. They are the operating model, the new operating model for work. Not just better chats, not just prompt following, but goal seeking for connected systems that take action. Now, the key fundamental shift that Agentic AI is delivering is that it has enabled us to go from natural language to execution in a way that we can use that to drive powerful automation. And agents are no longer in the horizon. We're seeing across industries and across use cases that they're already reshaping how companies operate. We're going from isolated prompts to systems that collaborate, from isolated chats to connected workflows. You master this shift, and you can cut time, can cut costs, and unlock new business opportunities for your organizations. Now, let's talk about control and flexibility, because every organization builds in a different way. If you need speed and reach, regardless of skill set, Copilot Studio puts instant agents into everyone's hands. Now, if you need deep control, where you can control absolutely every single thing, build with your frameworks, roll out your own GPUs, manage your containers, and you have to manage everything, not only in the building time, but also in the operating and scaling, then an IIS route will be good for you. Now, most developers choose right in the middle, where Microsoft Foundry is. This is a place where you can get your models as a service, get your agents hosted, where you can focus on your IP and your business logic and not so much on managing infrastructure. However you build, it is backed by Microsoft security and compliance. Now, we're going to focus today on Microsoft Foundry. And Microsoft Foundry is the place for models, tools, knowledge, agents, and governance with a trusted control plane that spans cloud to edge and is simple, powerful, and trusted. The way that we're going to do this session today is that we're going to align to the developer workflow, build, deploy, operate. And we're going to show you with lots of demos how Foundry delivers value for each. Then we will share the journey of two companies, Takeda Pharma and Capgemini, who are already putting Foundry into action. So let's get started. We'll go through the build, deploy, operate as a continuous learning loop for building and improving agents. And to help illustrate throughout the session, we'll use the journey of turning a manual sales renewal process into a connected agentic workflow so that sales representatives can get less time gathering and more time closing. OK, when we start with the build phase, there are certain challenges that the developers face. How do they pick the right model? How do they connect with enterprise data? How do they use tools securely? How do they then capture traces and debug and make sure that they can see what's happening across prompts, models, tools? And how do they get multiple agents to collaborate securely? Let's see how Microsoft Foundry helps developers overcome all of these challenges and bring agents to life. Elijah and Tina, take it away.
All righty, folks. How are we doing today? How's our Ignite been so far? Good, bad, good? Good? Yeah, OK. Love it. So as Yina mentioned, we're going to be looking at Foundry today. And we're going to be looking at, first we're going to be starting with the discover part of the flow. You guys see that now on screen. So big picture, here's the sales workflow we're going to be building. It's really small right now. But what we're going to talk about is how we're going to get data from multiple sources, qualify leads, and then get human in the loop for approvals. But before we get into all this, because this looks really complicated right now, let's first start with building the first agent. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate over to the Discover tab, which is the central hub for finding models and tools to jumpstart your solution. Tina, can we first show them the Foundry tools?
Absolutely. Foundry tools let developers discover more than 1,400 curated Microsoft and partner tools, connecting agents to real-time data, business systems, as well as productivity apps. And of course, enterprises can create their own private organizational catalog, ensuring internal reuse and sharing while keeping security and compliance.
And we have the models catalog, too.
Now we have the models catalog, too. So let me now talk about the models catalog as well. So Foundry Models Catalog has more than 11,000 models. And the list keeps on growing. This is like a models buffet. If you don't actually like something, if you don't love something, it's kind of our fault. So guarantee you like you. So today we're excited to announce that the Foundry agent service expanding the models that are supported on the agent service, including both specialist models as well as frontier models from OpenAI, Anthropic, Meta, xAI, Mistral AI, as well as DeepSeek. With the expansion of models, we're giving developers the flexibility to choose the best model for their use case, be it trying to optimize for multimodality, reasoning depth, efficiency, or cost.
I love it. Can I just show of hands, who's stoked that Claude models are now on Foundry? I know I am super stoked for that today. That was a huge announcement, and we're excited for that. So what's also great about the Foundry catalog is that I can actually compare multiple models against each other to see which one is best for my use case. And today I'm actually going to select GPT-4.1 Mini because it's a right balance of speed and it's also pretty low cost. So I actually already have one of these deployed, so I'm going to go ahead and select this. And I jump right into the playground where I can test our models. Tina, what do you think about that?
It is so easy to build. Foundry developer platform lets it make sure that you get started the right way when you build an agent. Just pick the right tools and the model, testing right there security in the playground, and validating results before moving forward.
I love it. And Foundry makes it easier than ever to create an agent. I just click on that Save as Agent button. I'm going to name our first agent today the 𝗲𝗲 lead build agent, and I'm going to go ahead and create it. And so basically as this creates, well, this agent is going to augment our CRM data with information from our internal knowledge sources. And we're going to see how to do that. So first I'm going to give this agent some instructions. And then after those load, great, I'm going to add some tools from our fantastic tool catalog that we just talked about. And I'm going to go down here at our 𝗲𝗲 corporate docs, as we've been talking a lot about 𝗲𝗲 here today. And then I'm also going to go ahead and add a grounding with Bing search. So great tools. And then after that, we have beyond tools, we can also add knowledge and memory, which you guys can see right here. Tina, can you tell us a little bit more about knowledge and memory?
Absolutely. The Foundry agent just got a lot smarter because of these two features. First one is Foundry IQ, which is in public preview today. Foundry IQ is powered by Azure AI Search, which instantly connects your agent to enterprise trusted data, all powered by OneLake, SharePoint, Azure AI OneLake, as well as the web, all without the developer having to set up any custom RAG logic or retrieval pipeline. Just click a few buttons, everything works right there. The second feature is memory, which is also in public preview. Memory gives agents the power to retain context across conversations and sessions so that they can learn from past interactions, personalize responses, and improve over time. So Elijah, let's see how all the superpowers our agent is gaining because of these two new features.
I love it. So I actually told a different agent earlier my name and what companies I work with. And you can see here on the results, it says, hey, my name is Elijah, and you work with Japanese pharmaceutical companies, which we may or may not be hearing from later today in this session. Pretty exciting stuff. And what's great about memory is that it's secure by design. Each memory store is user-scoped and permission-controlled, so the data says private to each user. So you can see I have it scoped to me, Elijah. Pretty great. And this is governed by the same enterprise compliance and security policies that protect all Foundry resources. But beyond just remembering context, sometimes you need your agent to actually think and communicate in the language of your business. So that's where fine-tuning comes in. Tina, can you tell us a little bit more about how Foundry makes it easier than ever to fine-tune?
Sure. One big hurdle for fine-tuning when we talk to our customers is data preparation. Now introducing the new synthetic data generation. So you may start with a small data set, sample data set. With synthetic data generation, we can turn that into a full-fledged training data set, making fine-tuning easy to use and accessible to everyone. Just like that.
Love it. And if you guys just saw, that's how easy it was to generate a synthetic data set, and then I can use that in fine-tuning. So pretty exciting stuff. So I actually went ahead and created a data set the other day, because you can see this is queued, and actually used it to fine-tune a model, which we're going to use in our agent right here. So I'm going to go over here and choose our fine-tuned model, go ahead and hit save, and now let's go ahead and test it out. Let me ask it to tell me about 𝗲𝗲. And what this is going to do is it's going to reach into our knowledge base using Foundry IQ and pull information out of there so we can learn more about our company. And here we go. It has a lot of great information about what 𝗲𝗲 is, and it's pulling from our corporate presentation. Pretty great stuff. So what's great about the Foundry experience is that the visibility into what our agents are doing. With traces that you can see here, we can see the step-by-step execution, which tools were called, what data was accessed, how decisions were made. And what's even more powerful about traces is that feeds directly into evals, which we're going to talk a little bit more about here in a second. And so this data that we're capturing for debugging can also be used to measure quality, reliability, and safety before and after deployment. So now I'm going to go ahead and add our new 𝗲𝗲 lead build agent back into our workflow right here. And I'm going to go with the new workflow builder. I can select an agent, 𝗲𝗲 lead build, and boom, added right into our workflow. Pretty cool stuff. So, but Tina, can you share what's most exciting about this new workflow?
Yes. Switch to PowerPoint first.
Yes, of course.
The workflow UI is a game changer because it makes multi-agent orchestration easier to use than ever just by dragging and dropping a few boxes. Customers like, wait, is it the right one? Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah.
Commerce Bank?
Yeah, Commerce Bank. Sorry, the font is so small. So customers like Commerce Bank is already putting multi-agent workflow into practice. They have deployed 𝗲𝗲, which is an AI-powered agent that is running on Azure, which is running on Foundry Agent Service. 𝗲𝗲 is managing more than 35,000 customer conversations on a monthly basis. And it is automatically resolving more than 75% of these interactions, all keeping security and compliance at scale running on Azure. Commerce Bank is a great example of utilizing AI and transforming their product from an AI assistant into a multi-agent system that is driving real business value. Super cool.
I love it. So now we're going to switch back over, and so now that it's running, the next step is making sure those agents perform as expected. And so for that, we're going to use evals, Foundry's built-in evaluation experience. Tracing and evals together, we just saw tracing a second ago, and now tracing and evals together close the loop between insight and improvement, giving teams full confidence that their agents are not just working, but working right. But as a developer, I want to go deeper into code and orchestrate agents using the frameworks I prefer. Tina, can I do that? Is it possible?
Yeah, so when we validated workflow UI with some of our early customers, one consistent piece of feedback we got was that even though the workflows UI is so easy to get started and so easy to use, it may be at times constraining when our developers need to jump into pro code to extend, to debug, to access CI/CD functionalities. To address this, we're announcing a powerful feature to seamlessly transition from workflow UI right into pro code. So with click of one button, you can jump right into pro code and continue editing with your favorite code editors, such as Visual Studio Code, to continue editing away. This is super powerful because there's no more dead end. Pro code saves the day.
I love it. So I actually just while Tina was talking, jumped into VS Code, which you can see here on the screen. And I'm actually using the Microsoft Foundry extension with AI Toolkit, which you can install in VS Code or your favorite code editor of choice. And I can actually visualize the workflow, as you can see here. And I also have access to all of my different agents and all kinds of cool stuff going on there. And what's even more exciting is that there's this generate code button. Ooh, very cool. And so what I'm going to do is click generate code, select Python, and what's going to happen is using the power of Copilot, it's going to kick off a process that converts our workflow here into Microsoft Agent Framework code. So you may ask, what is Microsoft Agent Framework? So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. So Microsoft Agent Framework is the successor to Semantic Kernel and AutoGen, and it's where you do multi-agent orchestration. Also, it's completely open source, and the team is fantastic. I'm biased because I helped work on it, but you can see they're pushing commits and stuff all of the time. So after this, I'm going to ask all of you to go check out it's at Agent Framework, and then give us a star on GitHub too, because we're getting really close to 5.5K stars. So please go ahead and do that. Shameless plug. I mean, I know. So now, going back into VS Code, I'm going to go ahead and hit allow here. I can also, and since I'm working in code, like Tina said, I'm never, ever hitting a dead end, which is awesome. But important to note is that here at Foundry, we're a completely open platform. All kinds of models, frameworks, etc. And know that while Microsoft Agent Framework is awesome, many of you may have used other multi-agent frameworks like LangGraph before and may want to deploy those in Foundry. Tina, can you tell us, I have this LangGraph agent here. Can you tell me how I might deploy this?
Yeah, as many of you know, we have launched hosted agents today, which is in public preview. With hosted agents, you can bring over your favorite agent framework, be it Microsoft Agent Framework, or LangGraph, or any open source framework that you like. And Foundry handles the rest. So no more container management, no more Kubernetes clusters, no more deployment pipelines. Foundry handles all the auto-scaling, monitoring, as well as security for you, so that you can focus on what differentiates your business, which is the actual agent logic, to make sure it drives the right business outcome for your company. So hosted agents are like valet parking, but for your code. You give us a key, we park it, we secure it, and hand it right back to you when it's time to drive. OK, so companies like Citrix is already taking advantage of hosted agents. They are transforming their virtual desktop environment, boosting enterprise productivity while keeping security and compliance at scale, all running on Azure.
I love it. So I'm going to switch back. While Tina was talking, two awesome things happened. Number one, you can see here that I converted our full workflow into Agent Framework code using the power of Copilot. That's pretty awesome. And at the same time, I also ran a script to deploy our LangGraph agent into a hosted agent. And you can see here, it now shows up in the Foundry UI as agent type hosted. And that's running right now. And so that's what's amazing, is that even though it looks like any other Foundry agent, because it's a hosted agent, it's actually my LangGraph code running behind the scenes. Pretty great. And so now that we've successfully deployed our agent as a hosted agent, I can go back in here, go into my workflow, and add it right in here. I'm going to go and let's see where our lead proposal writer, it says you are a container agent. I'm going to go and add it, and there we go. Boom. We've gone to prototype, from prototype to production ready in minutes. Tina, that's pretty awesome.
I know, it is so easy. The great thing about it is that it is so easy to build everything on Foundry. From picking the model, the tools, the knowledge, to the memory, to play it in the playground, do multi-agent orchestration, run evals to make sure performance is good, and deploy it as a hosted agent, all in a matter of minutes. And now, Yina, now that our agent is running, how do we make sure our teams can access it?
All righty. Well, that was a really good showcase of the build stage. Now we're going to go to deploy. Remember, I told you we're going through the session on the stages of the developer journey. Now, on the deploy stage, developers face some new challenges. Here is like, how do they expose and integrate their agent into their code? How do they expose it into like the places where their customers are, whether it's a web application, maybe some already interactive applications like Teams, and then how do they integrate their entire code into their app stack, and how do they run new versions securely and without incidents? One of the things that we're going to show today, and one announcement that I'm really excited about, is like being able to take these agents and deploy them into Microsoft 365 in a guided flow. Before, you had to do a lot of manual work, create your own agent bot framework, and your bot framework service, and like do a whole bunch of like packaging and wiring in order to get the publishing into Microsoft 365. Now we're made that a seamless process so that you can get your agents show up in Microsoft 365 Copilot or in Teams, respecting enterprise identity, the same compliance, the same security, and they can work across Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive with governed access, and with, additionally, you probably also heard about Agent 365, which is the IT control plane where admins can manage their agents because they can see they're using the same identity and the same set of like enterprise harnesses. And beyond governance, with Agent 365, we can enable secure access to all of the Microsoft 365 services through the new set of MCP tools. And those are going to be available for frontier organizations so that you can automate real work while staying compliant and observable throughout and using products like Defender and Sentinel. So Microsoft 365 and Teams deployment right there from the UI. Customers like Young Williams are already using these capabilities to integrate and publish their agencies directly into Microsoft 365, bringing in automation and insights directly into everyday workflows.
I love it. Should we
Let's see it in action.
Should we check it out? I think we should. So I'm going to go in here back to our same workflow we've been working on today. And as Yina showed us in the slide, we can see up here there's this publish button, pretty cool, that I'm going to click and drop down. And I already have this publish, so say publish updates, but I can publish it directly into Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is great. So then our teams can access it through Microsoft Teams. Say that 5 times fast, pretty funny. So then I'm going to go over to Teams. And this is the workflow that I have deployed in here. And I'm going to ask it to find me an opportunity related to this account. And so while that runs, I'm going to switch back over to Foundry, and I have this sales team agent that you can see here is connected to Microsoft Word, Teams, and SharePoint. That's pretty cool. So Yina, I know you mentioned a little bit about A365. Can you give us some more context on what exactly is going on here?
So in addition to Microsoft Word, Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, there's a new set of MCP tools that we're bringing and making available. Maybe we show them in the tool catalog. Do you want to show the tool catalog?
Yeah, I can go right.
A new set of MCP tools that we're making available for developers to use within their agents to connect to Microsoft 365. Now, you could have done this with maybe a Logic App connectors that also offer some of these connections to Microsoft 365. You could have done this also wrapping some of the Microsoft Graph APIs with an because it supports Open API. But we're also enabling, out of the box, this new set of MCP connectors that interact with a set of APIs that have been purposely created for agent interactions. So they're not just your typical CRUD APIs that you maybe have been used to when you're building with Microsoft 365, but there have been a set of new APIs that are optimized for bringing in the right context, introducing a new set of capabilities, for example, as we're going to see right now, to create a document, right? And to do a whole bunch of interactions with Microsoft 365.
So I just want to walk through what just happened while Yina was talking, because I am really excited about this. So I asked the agent, what is 𝗲𝗲's top product, and generate for me a sales proposal in Word. What it did was then call the Word MCP tool, and then created, which we can see here, an entire sales proposal for us using our enterprise knowledge that was brought in during Foundry IQ. That's pretty exciting if you ask me.
I think they didn't see the creation part. You probably faked that.
No, it's 100% real.
Show us the link. Click on the link.
I did. That was, okay, you want me to click on it again? Here it is. Boom, right in here. Voila.
Okay.
Ooh. Pretty great. Yeah, that's a round of applause right there. Thank you. But can I just do that, Yina? Or what if I wanted to share it with my team?
You can do that too.
Can I do that? Okay, so I'm going to post our proposal in the Teams channel right there. And what it's going to do is call the Microsoft Teams.
That's an important point. Have you seen, it's invoking an MCP tool. You can either configure it to have a human approval or just automatically execute the tool when the agent deems that it needs to.
Absolutely. So let's go over here to our Teams channel. I'm going to go ahead here in chat, go to our sales team, and look at that. Hey, 𝗲𝗲's sales team, I've created a sales proposal for 𝗲𝗲's top product, this 𝗲𝗲 Smart Core Mesh technology, and then it has the link to our Word document. Best regards, Elijah. That's pretty awesome if you ask me.
That's really good.
Okay, Yina, that was incredible, but is our work over now? Are we done?
No, we're not done. We're not done. The next thing that we want to show you is the operate phase. So in the operate phase, let me just get back to our slide, is a new set of challenges come in. So you've already have ideated your scenario, you've built your agent, you've connected it to tools, to memory, to knowledge, to all of the different set of capabilities that Foundry offers. But now it comes to how do you monitor these agents as you take them into production? And by the way, sometimes they behave like teenagers. You build them, they think that you build them right, and then you release them into the wild and you don't know what they're going to do. So you need to make sure that you have a platform that can help you drive evaluations, that can help you drive monitoring. So not only evaluations on a given point in time, but also continuous evaluation and continuous monitoring. Also, another set of challenges is how you enforce compliance and data access policies so that your agents are only getting access to the data that they should get access to, and that you can set policies to guard the amount of information that they are enabled to respond into the queries as well. Mitigating and detecting unsafe or failed behaviors is also a capability that you'll need to have on the operate phase, as well as rolling updates into production. For that, we are introducing the new Foundry control plane. The Foundry control plane is the answer to all of these challenges. It gives organizations complete visibility and control over every agent across development, deployment, and production. From here, you will be able to monitor costs. Maybe we can start showing some of that.
Of course.
You'll be able to monitor cost, see the quality, the safety, the performance. And because it is based on open telemetry tracing, you can not only use our tool, but also extend that with Azure Monitor so that you can see the end-to-end of what you're building and all of the operational metrics aggregated. The Foundry control plane also integrates with Microsoft Defender and with Microsoft Purview, so it gives you a unified insight into security signals, and it creates that continuous collaboration loop between professional developers and security operators to not only build the agents, but make sure that those agents are behaving when they are as expected when they are released into production. Now, let's take a look at the Foundry control plane.
Let's do it. So there's a lot going on in this dashboard, and we invite all of you guys to go check it out in your own Foundry accounts. But I want to focus on 3 things today. Number 1 is this aggregated alerts section right here. And as Yina mentioned, these are aggregated alerts from Defender, policies, evals that automatically notify you when metrics drop below a certain threshold. And you can see they're categorized by severity, so your team knows which ones to prioritize and which ones to react quickly to. Pretty great. Second is our Assets tab, and you can see in here that I've got all of my agents. I can also look at my models and tools, but excitingly, I have this thing that says that all of my published agents have some sort of Entra ID and Entra. What is that, Yina? Can you tell us a little bit about how it integrates with Entra?
Yeah, this is a key piece of functionality that we are adding to agents. We are extending the set of capabilities that we have in Entra, which is our directory provider, to also not only know about users and groups and devices and the set of things that you might be already familiar with that the directory is aware, but also now understand agents and agentic identities so that you can assign an identity to that agent, and then you can assign conditional access policies, roles, permissions, delegations, and not only assign those, but if the moment arises, being able to revoke those permissions and see exactly the audit trace of all of the actions that the agents do in the environment.
I love it, I love it. And last but certainly not least, we have this compliance tab. And here we can set policies, guardrails, security postures, all kinds of good stuff in here. And these are for our entire account, ensuring consistent protection across all of your models and agents. Yina, can you tell us more about how Foundry can help us stay safe against threats?
Yeah, I mentioned that we have integration with Microsoft Defender and Microsoft Purview. So if you all of the investments that you've done in these products to set up data labels, to do threat protection, all of that carries into your agents. You can set up guardrails, you can set up controls and policies, not only for an individual agent that you've built, but also controls and guardrails that apply to the entire agentic fleet that you have in your organization, in a given scope. It can be at the project level or at the subscription level across the set of agents that you have. Yep.
I love it. So, but wait a second. So we started this with a workflow. We published it. Should we just check in on it, see how it's doing before we wrap up here? So we can see here that it gave us our workflow gave us a full report on what's going on with our sales lead, with that account. And I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, this looks good. It's asking me how, does it look good? I'm going to respond yes. And what should now happen is going to process our request. And our final agent should then help us draft an email to send to our customer. And drum roll, please.
One of the key things that we should call out here is how we can have human in the loop as we automate these business processes, right? So it's not just throwing AI into all of this business process automation, but it is how do we make sure that we augment the set of human capabilities with the power that AI brings, while the human is always in control.
Love it. And there it is. There's our email ready to send to the customer. That's great. Thanks, Yina.
Alrighty. So we were talking about Foundry Control Plane, and I'll share how CarMax is one of the customers that we have that is already using these capabilities to monitor and optimize its growing agentic fleet over time. And there you go. We've covered a lot today. That was hopefully have you seen across the building stage, the deployment stage, the operating stage, the capabilities that Foundry has to offer. We're only scratching the surface today. Foundry has so many more capabilities, and we're accelerating development every single day. I just wanted you to remember this. Foundry makes it easy, and there's no other platform that end-to-end combines the ability of models, tools, knowledge, the set of not only being able to build your agents, but control them when they're in production and continuously improve them over time. And as a key foundation to all of that, it is enterprise ready. It is integrated with Purview. It's integrated with Defender. It's integrated with Entra for identity so that you can assign permissions to these agents so that you can know what they're doing, what services they're accessing, which users are interacting with the agents, and so forth. We have taken you through that entire journey in this demo, and then where we transform this manual sales process into an intelligent workflow that lets sales representatives focus on what matters the most, which is closing deals and building customer relationships. So thank you, Tina and Elijah, for that incredible demo. Okay, now more than 80,000 organizations are already, across different industries and segments, are already using Foundry to build, deploy, and operate agents at scale. Whether it is automating business processes, creating new experiences, or unlocking new ways to generate value across their organizations. Customers are already seeing real ROI. Customers like AT&T have sped up information search for customer care agents by 33%. Customers like BMW has accelerated their telemetry analysis by 12x. And customers like NASDAQ have saved over 100 hours a year through AI-driven automation. These results show how Foundry is ready to help organizations turn innovation into measurable value at scale. Now, I want to invite David Feldman from Takeda, for us to hear directly from one of those innovators. Takeda Pharma is leading in enterprise AI, and David, thank you. And thank you for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
All righty, I think we're going to start with David sharing a little bit about Takeda and some of the capabilities that they've built.
Thanks so much. Takeda is a global values-based biopharma leader with a more than 240-year history of innovation. Our mission of better health for people, brighter future for the world, combines science with data, digital, and technology to create meaningful impact on all of our patients' lives. So we've tried over the last number of years to be able to integrate AI into every aspect of the employee journey. And so that really started in February of 2023, just weeks after Azure OpenAI first shipped access to the GPT series models. And it's been an incredible journey to be able to take each of the different pieces of functionality, not just models, but if you think beyond that, thinking about things like document intelligence, being able to take real meaningful information out of all of your structured files and be able to ground our agents better. People don't necessarily think about that first jumping off point. It's not just having the best model, it's getting the right data, the right tools, the right safety features in order to really be able to bring it to life.
So Dave, tell us a little bit more about some of the challenges that Takeda has been addressing with AI.
Sure, absolutely. We started in lots of different places. So one place where we started first in the employee journey was we looked at what are the things that every single employee does. One of our first agents we did started to help every single employee with end of the year performance stuff. It's a first jumping off point that got everybody involved in it. We very early started by creating 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗧. It means my partner in Japanese. And we introduced that within about a week to every single employee in the company. So we started it off, small flight, expanded, got bigger, got bigger, got bigger. But tons of features that have been added into that over time. It's used by R&D, it's used by manufacturing, supply chain, all over the value chain.
And as you were looking on which were the set of tools that you were going to use to build this type of solutions, what were the key decision points for you and that led you to choose Foundry?
Yeah, so the key decision points were really the integration into the stack, the security, access to everything that we had. So this was actually, you can see that picture up there, was a story that we published on our website about sort of the beginning of 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗻. And literally, it was a Friday afternoon conversation, a one-on-one I had with the person who was leading virtual agents on my team. And we said, hey, this ChatGPT thing seems like it's going to be big. We need to do it in a way that's safe, that introduces every single employee. This is like a year before Copilot launched. So being able to get access to every single person inside the company. But for me, it's really the combined set of tools that you have across the Foundry ecosystem that really make this a fantastic platform to be able to build agents on and empower every single person across the organization.
Dave, and how about the transition from you started building web chat experience using the models to now Agentic AI?
Yeah, it's been really, really interesting. So you can see our agent builder that we put on top of this. And we started off literally just calling chat completions and then assistants and the agent service and responses. And we took that concept of an agent, we wrapped it in a Power Automate connector because we didn't have workflows. I'm so excited about the things that you're introducing today. You can see a picture of a agentic workflow where I had one agent that was going off and driving interaction across 15 different other agents, and it would bounce it back and forth between them in order to complete the workflow. We've taken those same agents and integrated them within custom applications as well. So accelerating AI use case evaluation so that you can co-author your use cases with a solution architect and with legal and ethics and compliance and all of those people right there with you. So trying to really streamline agents into every different aspect and make it easy for folks to be able to do that.
This is amazing. I mean, tell us a little bit more about the actual business impact of these AI-powered solutions across the scope of Takeda Pharma.
Yeah, it's really interesting. One of the things that we looked at the very beginning was we said, how do we measure this? Can we compute out times that you run it, times minutes saved for each one of these? And we decided that really wasn't, for us, the most effective way to do it. That we started collecting stories on every single one of these use cases. So as we work with a different part of the business, in order to be able to bring agentic AI into their workflow, we think about how they did it before, how they do it afterwards, and then be able to bring it back together. But it's everywhere across the value chain.
Thank you. Dave, anything else that you would like to add for this crowd who are also in the journey of maybe have already built, but maybe also are already getting started when it comes to approaching AI?
Sure. So maybe my most exciting thing is I was sitting in Yina's last session, and I took our MCP server that we created for our HR digital partner, and I opened up Foundry, and I created a new agent, and I connected my MCP server in it, and I was up live and testing in her session about 15 minutes in. So Thank you for the great work, for the great products, and for the opportunity to share our story.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Dave, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And for sharing the story of Takeda Pharma. Now, I know that many of you might not necessarily have a team like Dave has to build this AI transformation within your organization. But don't fear, because we've partnered with a lot of global system integrators, GSIs like EY, Capgemini, Accenture, and more that are here to help you in this journey. And then to share about a little bit of how we're bringing in these partnerships with organizations like Capgemini, I'm going to invite Mark Oost, who's the Vice President of Generative AI at Capgemini. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let's start by hearing from you, and then I'll ask you a few questions about how Capgemini is helping customers approach AI at scale.
So first of all, we're already partnering with Microsoft over 25 years, so a very long, strong partnership. And we believe so much in this Microsoft Foundry that we actually have a full dedicated offering that we're actually launching together with Microsoft. That's called the Agentic Industry Studio, where we actually are packaging up industry-specific use cases and bring them to our clients so they can start scaling from the get-go. And everything is built in Foundry, and I can actually already tell you that the agents that we are now building, and we already moved 40 of them to the new MS Foundry, and it's already fully integrated with control plane and all the other ones as well. So we're really bringing and want to bring at speed these agents to our clients. And we're also doing the full strategy next to that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. So for enterprises that don't have a deep in-house team, an AI team, what is the first step to get started into the journey with partnership like your organization?
Yeah, so what we do basically is we start most of the time because a lot of clients don't know what it can do or maybe also feel like it can do too much. So we actually do our first a couple of hour workshop to showcase what it can do, what it cannot do. Then from there, we actually start scaling up and start to doing a full prototype end-to-end at scale. And that's, I think, super important to know. You should start from the get-go to drive Agentic AI at scale. And that's also why we bring in Microsoft, because they can bring the technology to not only do a POC, but also actually start scaling up afterwards.
And what makes Microsoft Foundry the right foundation for enterprises who are looking to build with flexibility and scale and build solutions for their organizations?
First of all, is the enterprise readiness. So what we see when we work with clients, they already did a lot of POCs. They did it here, they got a GitHub code from there, and they try to integrate it, but when they start moving things to production, things fall apart. You can build a POC within 10 minutes. You just go online, get the code, be off to the races. Getting it into production, into your workflows, everywhere, that's where Microsoft brings in. Also now with a full integration of in Teams and in all other Office products, it's super awesome that we can bring that. So the full integration, the full enterprise readiness is what you bring in.
Thank you, Mark. Can you share maybe some success story that Capgemini has delivered, leveraging Foundry for some of your customers, and specifically measurable business results?
Yes, so we do quite a lot of already with quite a few clients all across. So it's not one or the other sector that we see more. So we do, for example, a supply chain where we optimize end-to-end supply chain so they can ship much faster products. Then we do also KYC. So we do a lot of KYC implementations using MS Foundry as well. And there's also a QR code on the slide. You can scan it. There are way more on that as well. But the last one that I want to also end up with is that we do also use this, for example, to design clinical studies for our clients. So really doing it all across. And I cannot pinpoint on one thing, but what I really want to give to you is that don't only focus on the efficiency. Focus how you can change the business, how you do business. That's where the actual value lies.
That's a great advice. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing how Capgemini is helping organizations transform already their businesses with AI. Alrighty. As you've seen today, Microsoft Foundry is built to help every organization to move from AI ideas into real impact. It's simple to build, giving developers the tools, the models, the workflows to create new set of agentic solutions in minutes. It's powerful to deploy, bringing those agents into the apps and experiences where people work and spend their time every single day. And it's trusted to operate with the governance, security, and compliance that enterprises rely on. I can't wait to see what you will build with Microsoft Foundry. And during the conference, we have a lot of other set of sessions that are going to go and dive deeper into some of the topics that we've discussed today. We're also going to be in the expert meetup, so join us there. Let's have a conversation about all of the set of scenarios that you want to transform with AI, and how can Microsoft partner with you on that journey. Thank you so much for your attention today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.